Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Latinos Stand Up, Just Incredibles freestyle series. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop some beats.
Yeah.
And y'all just go crazy.
Oh, it's time to get busy?
Just like that, man.
Time to get busy, man.
Let's get busy then.
You know what we came to do, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Long time coming.
It's Blanco. I tried talking to God again, but he kicked me to the curb. I prayed and said that drugs, money, guns, what I preferred. I'm aware that isn't righteous and I'll get what I deserve. Can't put a price on freedom, but we'll risk it on a bird. My young yo behind the wall said he's with me in spirit. He been shackled up and still ain't get one family visit. Could you imagine that feeling? All alone and feel forgotten by yourself with just your thoughts left for dead and slowly rotten. Shit is wicked.
I feel like the Holy Spirit forgot me.
Yeah.
Son of God, but I think Satan chose to adopt me.
Damn.
Used to be a good kid, then started selling oxy. I mic'd out, so I keep long sticks like hockey. Don't call me a legend, guapo, more like a myth. Illegal aliens, they wonder if we even exist. They said that LA fell off, man, you stupid as shit. It's game 7 at the finals, coming home with the chip, you
It
bitch.
smells like a rotten corpse every time I leave a booth. With a stick I play ball like I'm Baby Ruth. They wish I stop and fall off like a baby tooth. Underdog against the odds, I'm walking living proof. Caught that boy lacking, waiting on his Uber lift. Chopper made him swag surf, turn him into Taylor Swift. My sole purpose in life is stunning, make him piss. Paperwork a Blanco telling that shit don't exist.
Let's go.
Here come the police, they be like, who the fuck is that? Bitches, the Yodis, raised by veteranos that only listen to oldies. Where if you get a teardrop tat, it's like a trophy.
Hey.
There's a war against the masculine male. This whole country turned to pussy, I could tell by the smell. Yodis fucking up the city, raw dog and sex sales.
Yeah.
I could tell that you never seen bricks or fish scale.
All the feds found was residue all over the scale.
Okay.
All the work was gone, so didn't get attempting to sell. These the results of someone sick and tired of taking the L. There's gotta be a heaven, I was going through hell.
Yo, if this is hell, then tell me where the fuck the devil at. About to run inside his crib and rob him with a Yodi mask.
Yes.
I act like a piece of shit and blame it on my Zodiac. I'm liable to slap you when
Yeah.
I'm off of too much
Cause
cognac.
I be with all of the foolery, there ain't no getting through to me. Fuck what my account said, I'm blowing this on jewelry. They tell me what's the price for a rapper chain. A GoFundMe in a family that's left in pain. Enjoying fruits of your labor, breeds envy behavior. One of us going to jail, the other's meeting his maker. Try to take mine and I'ma chop the thumbs off a purse snatcher. Then I'ma snatch your bitch cause she a thirst trapper. Look, it's kinda hard for me to explain, so I'ma try to dumb it down, you little shit stain.
Let's
Law
do it.
number 1, get rid of hate in your veins. Number 2, don't you ever have no smut on your name. And after that, make sure you put the work in with no shortcuts. Take every opportunity before the door shuts. I'm grateful that the plug still supports us. I'm moving so much weight, I need like 4
I swear
trucks.
to God, the next motherfucker to get close,
What?
I'ma tie his hands together and throw him off a boat. I ran out of patience, I ran out of hope. About to run inside the Vatican and pistol whip the Pope. I swear to God, I don't fuck with none of you guys. You the type to give me flowers on the day that I die. Fuck that. Tell me who the best rapper alive. Got a bullet with his name engraved right on the side. I swear to God, stop playing with me. If you was there when I was starving, you'll be there when I eat. Me and my brother used to sleep on the floor, no sheets. We shared pants, shared shoes, we shared beef. I swear to God,
Amen.
you are your brother's keeper. Blood run thicker than water, the shit's deeper. God has chosen me, that's no secret. But I had to turn them down, I'm not Jesus, God. I'm just a regular guy, but when you're chosen, man, it's just not up to you to decide. It was written, the only reason why I'm alive is to lead the lost souls. I'm the Lord of the flies, I swear to God. I'm done with all that humble shit. When you say my name, say the GOAT right in front of it. This shit is my life, they're like, I'm just having fun with it. I'm not having fun, I grind so hard it feel like punishment. Man, so don't hit me on no fun shit. So obsessed with making it that I could barely function. Self-destructive, too much alcohol consumption. My wife say that she don't recognize her husband. Damn, just imagine how she feel. Patching up the wounds that are impossible to heal. She know that when I make it, I'ma pay for every bill. But life is moving fast, I got no time for standing still on God.
El autor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
You don't love me, and I know now. Gotcha, bitch. What up, family? How you doing? Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it again. Listen, I got something good for y'all today. Okay, I got something good for you guys today. And I thought about this for a moment before I came on the live, because I was talking to a brother for a while, and I was talking to another brother for a little while, right? What up, Kuya? Oh, matter of fact, let me say what's up before I go started. Good to have you here, brother. What up, Joe? Wow, what up, Adam? Good to have you, brother. Good evening, carnales. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Yes, sir. Read louder. Good talk, bro. Good talk. I'm glad you understand. Don't get offended. I'm just kind of blunt in some ways. That's it. But we're pretty good in at least where we're at. I like that you're reading. That's beautiful. At least I know that you're studying. A lot of people don't do that shit. So I appreciate that you sit behind what you believe, because that means you're not only because you're not because you're saying it, because I can tell that you're studying. So I can respect that. You get what I mean? What up, brother? So, as we see other channels trying to go, like, for example, there's like Two Crazy Lies right now. People referred me to them. And it's, West Africans or West African Americans claiming to be natives of this land. Right? That right there. That's what they're doing. And I'm noticing that there's like these cholo channels or gangster channels, whatever. And it's starting to bleed into that, to them, to their genre. And I've been saying this since 2022, since I started this channel. It's going to be that way. Yeah, I didn't want to listen. You know what I'm saying? So, thank you, brother, for presenting this book. Matter of fact, he's one of the reasons why I think we started this class tonight. And again, I'm not going to go long, okay? I'm just going to bring up some points and prove our case, because just like these Wabos wannabe natives, they're running from this fucking history, which that is the fucking fact right there. They want to be the natives now because people are trying to find out, bro, that, you know, y'all were slavers. You helped the white man since 1492. And compared to them, I mean, compared to you, they were minuscule. It wasn't many of them. So the reason I labeled it Negro slavers is because that's a fact. So while you try to steal our heritage by bringing up pictures and, hey, look, old ass women that probably their great-great-grandmother got raped, all of a sudden got straight hair, all of it, now she's native. You know what I'm saying? You guys are going by that shit. So I'm not going to follow your game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to prove to you what you're trying to hide from. So it's this right here is called 1830. Okay, remember this. 1830 Negro Convention. Okay? 1830 Negro Convention. So if you recall, you know, I found this book here, and I thought it was I was gonna share it the other day, but then I go, you know what? I'll save it for another time. And I think right now it may just be a good time. Let me see. Do I have it still? Where is it? Or did I even upload it? Hold on a second. No, it's not that one. Maybe I didn't upload it. This book I have, and I was actually searching something else, to be honest with you. I wasn't planning on running into this book. But all of a sudden, man, where are you? Give me a moment. Is there my other links? This book was mentioning, here it goes. Yeah, I did not link it up. Okay, so let me do it now. I'm gonna show you something. This book here, or whatever it is, right? This thing right here. It's a government document, okay? And it says regarding teachers of the 8th grade American history and government courses are provided with a 4-unit curriculum guide following an introduction and course outline units. Beginning of the Americas contain 3 lessons, yada, 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 explaining colonization, the practical and humanistic aspect of democracy. So here's where they're, you know, force hog feed you their premises, like what they believe. You know what I'm saying? Like reteaching you, like they're trying to do it again with Charlie Kirk. They're really trying to do that. I don't know if you guys noticed. They're trying to rename him or using his death as a renaming. Hey, yeah, oh man, you're on point, bro. You're on point, Joe. You're on point, brother. You're because I have a video for it. So America Heritage People and Problems, right? Office of Instructional Service, General Education, Branch Education, blah, blah, blah. State of Hawaii. So here's the, you know, kind of like the nuts and bolts of what they're supposed to do. You know, key questions, generalization, objectives, 8 series of introductory. So this is like the teacher curriculum. So whatever you learn in school, like I did, this is what we are taught. The beginning of America, exploration, colonization, revolution. So they wanted to rewrite history, right? Once more, at least to what we know of the beginning of America, democracy and humanity, or human dignity, foundation of America democracy, societal problems, yada, yada, yada. You know, all that stuff, right? Right? All of that stuff. And quite frankly, here's where they just tell us, like, supposedly they showed up here and, you know, to explore this here. I'll tell you. It says overview. The roots of the settlement of America can be traced to the search for new trade routes, which led to the rediscovery and subsequent exploration and settlement of America. You see what I'm saying? So it had nothing to do with a prophecy. It had nothing to do with Ezra's. It had nothing to do with no Bible shit. It was like, hey, some white people just were randomly trying to get away. Some white people wanting to grow as a country. But see, we forget sometimes in this fucking bullshit that at that time in 1492, there was war going on and people got kicked out. They weren't exploring to find new trade routes. Okay? Spain was practically fighting the invasion, pushed them out, pushed people out that had helped them, which included the Jews and Moors, so-called, by the way, right? And then the expulsion was created. They told us that it was more of, oh, we just wanted to expand. No, there was no expansion in Spain, so to speak. They were kicked out. The so-called Jews needed to go somewhere because they even say themselves that where it began, where their ending was in Spain, their beginning started here. You know what I'm saying? So, like, check this out. It says here, to search for new trade routes, which led to the rediscovery and subsequent exploration and settlements of America. Well, here's the interesting part, which led to the rediscovery. Now, the beginnings of America can also be traced to the economic, political conditions of England, which led to many to seek greater freedom, opportunity in America. Is that true? That's a fucking lie. These people were being kicked out of their own country because they were criminals. They're all sending their criminals over here. I mean, when it gets to this point, the British, you know what I mean? But it didn't start with the British. It started in 1492. So here's a rewriting of what we were supposed to first learn. The first successful British colony of America was Jamestown, which also pioneered and the represented form of government, which is a lie. This actual story includes, by the way, let me just remind you, it includes this particular book here. It's called The History and Present State of Virginia. Now, this book talks about John Smith, and in this book, it actually says what happened in 1609. Now, this is just one page of the book, but in this book, it says in 1609, these people were fucking eating each other, which is the starvation times of 1609. Look it up. Starvation times of 1609. You're going to find out that their first settlement wasn't fucking successful. No, they were cannibals. John Smith got injured, and then he had to go boat back to Europe. You know, first wetbags obviously is them, right? And when he came back 6-8 months later, he found out that the people that were there, they didn't do shit for themselves. They didn't harvest, they didn't fish, they didn't hunt, they didn't do nothing. They were just hanging around, drinking, getting faded and shit, and fucking around, you know, being whores. And then when the food runs out and everything runs out, they got natives around them, like they're not coming out, so then they were forced to eat themselves. That's the real fact. But here, we're getting a rewritten story. As early as 1760, many people in the colonies were beginning to think of themselves as Americans. They eventually took action against British regulations and the principle of taxation without representation and won their independence after the Revolutionary War. You see this right here? This unit examines the conditions, circumstances which led to the exploration and settlement of America. So it's kind of like a synopsis of like what they were trying to teach, right? But here we find out, though, that in those teachings, they said that black folks were slaves all the time. Now, we're not even in their stories, by the way. You guys realize that, right? We're secondary in their stories. But they always said that in 1830, Negroes were slaves. This is a 1830 convention. I don't, how these, I mean, if they're slaves, their slave masters let them fucking do an uproar, so to speak. This is regarding voting rights. The Negro Convention was a voting right position. The reason, if you guys can look into this history, I'll be brief on it. They were having white people moving in, and they didn't like it. I sometimes think that we forget what really occurred. We have here, it's called Virginia, the Old Dominion, on page 89, and it says, the last of this month of August 1619, that marked the establishment of civil liberty and self-government, saw also the introduction of a new class of immigrant laborers. These were Negroes, whose service, it now appears, were indentured, as in the case of whites from England and Europe. You see that? You understand what that means? Unlike what the propaganda machine told us to believe, these people had freedom since they've been here, supposedly. Remember, the British also were dealing with them, Spaniards and Portuguese too. Now, it says here, previously, it has been generally accepted that they were sold to the colonists as slaves, while the bringing of them has been ascribed to the Dutch. Recent research, however, has cast a new light upon the transaction. According to the available records, these Negroes were not with certainty, may not with certainty be called slaves, for there is no proof that their persons were held as property or on terms any different from those of white laborers whose services were engaged under the public or private ownership for various lengths of time. On the contrary, Monfreri, the evidence clearly points to the customary indenture. Remember this name, for Virginia, archive shows that throughout the second quarter of the 17th century, meaning late 1680, 1690, Negroes were being released at the end of their periods of indenture. Now, why am I bringing this up? Why do I share this with y'all? I appreciate the brother that told me about this book. And I find it quite fucking amazing. Do you know that? It's called The Prostate State, South Carolina under Negro Government by James Pike, 1874. Now, again, remember, we have people claiming to be natives in this land. So what I'm doing is, I'm not playing a game. What I'm doing is I'm calling you motherfuckers out. That's what I'm doing. I'm calling you motherfuckers out. I'm saying there's a link. Debate me on this topic and prove to me that you are originally the people of this land. While I present to you what's called, or what we know of as Negro slavers. In this book, it says here, a black parliament, humiliation of the whites, society bottom side up, an extraordinary spectacle. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Humiliation of the white man, huh? Isn't that what they're supposedly preaching for? Listen, this gets interesting because in this first chapter, just to get to the point, just so you can see, okay? It says, yesterday about 4 p.m., the assembled wisdom of the state, whose achievements are illustrated on that theater, issued for the state house. About 3/4 of the crowd, listen, about 3/4 of the crowd belong to the African race. This is an 1870 motherfucking 4. They're not calling y'all natives. This is people in government positions in South Carolina, okay? These are not white people. These are black folks. The majority of y'all were in government. Y'all were running that shop. About 3/4 of the crowd belonged to the African race. They were of every hue, from the light octarine, meaning like 1/8, to the deep black. They were such a looking body of men as might pour out of a market house or a courthouse at randoms in any southern state. These are Africans, meaning what? That you guys might have looked light-skinned, but guess what the fuck? Guess what the fuck it means? It means that you look kind of weddles. I mean, you were Gringolandians. You know what I'm saying? You were Gringolandians. Then it says here, every Negro type and physiognomy was here to be seen. Every African, from the genteel servant man to the rough-hew customer from the rice or cotton fields. Their dress was as varied as their countenance. There was a second-hand black foot coat of a firm gentility, glossy in hair and threadbare. There was a stovepipe. You know, you get the whole point, right? You get what I'm saying. He's like saying there was a variety of African people. They never called y'all fucking natives. These are people in charge here, by the way. Let me remind y'all. Okay, so if you continue to read this here, right? Here's where we get a little very interesting. So check this out. Here, let me slow down. If you continue to read this, you're gonna see what is being played out. The majority of the people that were in charge of South Carolina were Negroes. What happened to y'all being slaves? And we're going to touch on it because I find it so curious. Okay. It says here then is the outcome, the ripe, perfected fruit of the boasted civilization of the South after 200 years of experience. You see that? Here then is the outcome, the ripe, perfected fruit of the boasted civilization of the South. He's talking about Negroes. After 200 years of experience. So it's saying that for 200 years, this land was predominantly ran by Negroes. Then it says a white community that had gradually risen from small beginnings till it grew to wealth, culture, and refinement, and became accomplished in all the arts of civilization. That successfully asserted its resistance to the foreign tyranny by deeds of conspicuous valor, which achieved liberty and, hold on, let me go over here. Achieved liberty and independence through the fire and tempest of the Civil War. You see this right here? So basically it's saying predominantly, there was the majority black owning, government running. But then as white people started progressing, then it became a problem. I mean, we see it earlier, like in the beginning of this chapter. It actually speaks of how you guys humiliated these people. I'm not here to defend them. You see, we're going to expose them through you, just like we exposed you through them. Listen to this. Hold on. Let me go up here. This is crazy. It says that they accept their position with a stoicism that promises no reward here or hereafter. Sorry. They are the types of a conquered race. They stake all and lose all. Their lives remain, their property and their children do not. War, emancipation, and grinding taxes have consumed them. Their struggle now is against complete confiscation. They endure and wait for the night. You see this right here? Basically what he's talking about is that the dignity of the Negro is being lost once slavery was ending. Right here. That stoicism, that shit y'all standing upon. We've been told that it was the white man that had this fucking head held high in slavery time. But no, it's on the contrary. That's why the other book that I had regarding the, what is it called? The Negro slavers. What is it? Hold on a second. This book called The Black Slave Owners, Free Black Slave Masters in South Carolina, 1790 through 1890. This is Larry Kroger, another writer. And in this book on page 18 talks about this. In January 1, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, thus initiating the legal process to free the slaves in the rebelling southern states and eventually to eliminate the chattel slavery in North America. The ramifications of Lincoln's proclamation affected not only thousands of white slave masters, but hundreds of black slaveholders. In Charleston City, for example, there was 91 free black masters who owned 268 slaves when President Lincoln signed the historic document. They didn't want to let these people go, bro. So it says here, he feels the iron hand of destiny is upon him. He is gloomy, disconsolate, hopeless. The gray heads of his generation openly profess that they look for no relief. They see no way of escape. The recovery of influence, of position, of control in the state, it felt by them to be impossible. They accept their position with a stoicism that promises no reward hereafter. They are types of a conquered race. Yada, yada, yada. Listen to this. This dense Negro crowd, this dense Negro crowd, they confront, do not debating, the squabbling, the lawmaking, and create all the clamor and disorder of the body. These 23 white men are but the observers and enforced auditors of the dual and clumsy imitation of a deliberate body whose appearance in its present capacity is at once wonder and a shame to the modern civilization. Watch this. Deducting the 23 members referred to, who comprise the entire strength of the opposition. So these are 23 white men in this government body. We find 101 remaining. Of those 101, 94 are colored, and 7 are their white allies. See this? Thus, the blacks outnumber the whole body of whites in the House more than 3-1. On the mere basis of numbers in the state, the justice of this proportion is manifest, since black population is relatively 4-3 of whites. A just ratification of the disproportion on the basis of population merely would give 54 whites to 70 black members. You see what we're talking about here? Listen to this. All right. South Carolina's legislature, without observing its detail, the speaker is black. The clerk is black. The doorkeepers are black. The little pages are black. The chairman of the Ways and Means is black. The captain is coal black. Some of the desk sits colored men whose types it would be hard to find outside of Congo, whose customs, visage, attitude, and expression only befit the forecastle of a buccaneer. Interesting. They'll never come to this channel, bro. I will crush their bullshit. Easy. We clearly see that there was African people in charge in South Carolina, that their ancestors were slaves for generations. Then it says here, recollecting the report of the famous schooner Wanderer fitted out by a southern slaveholder 12 or 15 years ago in ostentatious defiance of the laws against the slave trade, and whose owners and masters boasted of having brought a cargo of slaves from Africa and safely landed them in South Carolina and Georgia. One thinks it must be true that some of these representatives are the very men then stolen from their African home. Y'all were enslaving your own people here in America, not over there in Africa. You were doing it over there too, but you were doing it here. Now, keep this in mind. This is what is this book called? This book is called The Prostate State, South Carolina under Negro government. Okay? Here, I'll give you guys a link, please. I haven't explored this book thoroughly. I'm not going to lie to y'all because the brother shared it to me today. But I did kind of scan through it real quick, and I was just like, wow. And honestly, I was kind of motivated to do the class today because I want to come back to this book. So I want you guys to have it. I want you guys to read it. So then when I go into this, it's not going to be like, oh my God, I didn't know this. No, you know. You know. Now, why is this interesting? South Carolina, right? South Carolina, check this out. South Carolina, now it says here, the free Negro owners of slaves in the United States in 1830, together with the absentee ownership of slaves in the United States in 1830. Basically, they were keeping records of slaves by that time. And now this is a book by Carter Woodson, and it's written in, I believe, what year? Let's see. 1924, okay. But these records are from 1830. And it says here, this statistical reports that on the free Negro ownership, listen, this statistical report on the free Negro ownership of slaves was made possible in 1921 when the Director of Association for the Study of Negroes' Life and History obtained from the Laura Spelman Rockefeller Memorial, okay? What you say? Dude, you did all that in 10 minutes? Yes, sir. Actually, I did all this while I was talking to this brother. While I was talking to this brother, because he's like, "Hey, man, you kind of have it already." I was like, "Yeah." We were just talking about it, and I was kind of putting notes, keeping mental notes, because this is like a long study. Like, I'm not just guessing stuff. Like, I don't just copy and paste. Like, I know my shit. So as I'm going through this, I'm like, oh shit, it reminds me of this, reminds me of that, reminds me of that. So yeah. And it kind of works that way, man. It's just the spirit. It's the Most High, bro. I'm so thankful that he chose me to pass this message. Anyways, so we see here the recording of slavery, right? Not by white people, by the way. But that's not the point. Watch this real quick. This is a thorough documentation. Here it's expressing the slaves that Negroes owned, like, for example, in Alabama. But you see, we're not going to focus on Alabama. We're going to look for South Carolina. Because we understand now that the majority of the people in charge of South Carolina were Negroes. You know, the ones that we deal with today. The ones that claim to be natives. The ones that knew they were motherfucking Africans. But for some odd reason, all of a sudden, now they forgot. So South Carolina is what we're focusing on. This is alphabetically set up. District of Columbia, Florida, yada, yada, yada. Let's go all the way down. Let's go all the way down to the S. Maryland, we're close. Watch this real quick. Maryland has a lot of people, right? Where's Maryland at? Up north. You mean North America? Like, had slaves too? Like, you know, the North and the South America? You know what I mean? That region? Yeah, they did. The northern states had slaves. Mississippi, Missouri, but the majority of the southern states owned slaves. New Hampshire, New Jersey, you see that? Right? These are all Negroes. Negro slave owners. Okay. Now, we get into North Carolina. Oh, North Carolina. And then what else? Pennsylvania. Now we see here. South Carolina. The people in South Carolina that govern the majority, right? Like, for example, the majority of people vote Republican in Texas. The majority of people in Alabama vote Republican because typically it's supposedly, well, not Texas, but in Alabama, predominantly white people, right? They vote Republican. It's kind of like this in South Carolina at that time, predominantly Negro, and most of their legislatures are Negros, and most of them allowed slavery. So this bullshit that only the white man owns slaves is a lie.
That's gonna hurt!
That's right.
Gotcha, bitch.
And look, that's just the first page. Look how many people they owned. 48. And most the ages between 36, 55. And you know, this is the story that I do want to remind y'all that doesn't mean that all of the people that they owned as slaves were Negros. They had Irish people, they had Native people. You have pictures of this stuff, you know what I'm saying? And for a long time, we've been lied to. And y'all let these Negroes get away with this shit. You know, this is the problem with you motherfuckers. You don't study. So they catch you on like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, because you don't study. Don't jump on a live and you don't know shit. Read. These are slavers. They ain't no different than the white man, bro. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? And then the nerve of you to claim that you're the natives, dude, that's laughable. And the second part, being supposedly Hebrews. What do you mean? Yeah, own slaves since you got here. You helped the white man. You brought smallpox. What the fuck are you talking about? You're far from fitting those curses. Matter of fact, you are those curses. You know, and that's a fact. Look at this right here. Lydia Burney, a black woman, a Negro, African, predominantly West African, I would believe, owned 75 slaves between the ages of 55 and 100. And I've shared with you documents that said that usually the black slave owners were worse than the white ones. I'm not justifying either one of them. Fuck them both. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, really? Look, page 3. So who was in charge of South Carolina? Stop the bullshit. The Negro as a legislator. Remember this part? We literally just said, like, literally read. Yeah, we're enslaving people. And let me remind you, South Carolina legislature, without observing its detail, the speaker is black, the clerk is black, doorkeepers are black, the little pages are black, the chairman of the ways and the means is black, the chaplain is coal black. At some of the desks sits colored men whose types it would be hard to find outside of Congo. What are we talking about? Y'all came on the same boat. If anything, you were the number one wetbags. And this isn't take talk. This is just facts. Now look at this right here. One of the things that first strikes as a casual observer in this Negro assembly is the fluency of debate. If the endless chatter that goes on there can be defined with this term, the leading topics of discussion are all well understood by the members as they are a practical character and they appeal directly to the personal interests of every legislator as well as those of his constituents. Then it says, when an appropriation bill is up to raise money to catch and punish the Ku Klux Klan, they know exactly what it means. They feel it in their bones, so too with educational measures. So look, my bad. It says the free schools comes right home to them, then the businesses of arming and drilling the black militia. They are eager on this point. Zambo can talk on these topics and those of his kindred character or their endless ramifications day in and day out. Here we see Ku Klux Klan and then black militia. Bro, we've been lied to for a long time. Too long. Too long. Page 21 talks about this right quick. Watch this. We might have read it. Oh, yeah, we did read it. The then Negro crowd they confront, the debating, the deducting 20. So we see that right there. Of this 101, 94 are colored. Page 29 talks about this right here. It says, but will South Carolina be Africanized? I thought y'all were natives. Nah, this isn't that. This isn't it. This is called the prostate state, South Carolina under Negro government. I showed that one, the one you're talking. No, not that one. I showed this page. This is the old Virginia. I mean, this is Virginia, the Old Dominion. This is Virginia, the Old Dominion that you're talking about. I shared this book here. This is free. What is it called? Free. Hold on. Free Negro owners of slaves in the United States in 1830. And then this one here, the prostate state, South Carolina, under Negro government. And then I read the black slave owners, free black slave masters in South Carolina, 1870 to 1860, by Larry Cougar. So it's basically supporting this right here, South Carolina. Here, let me type it in real quick so you can see. Black slave owners, free black slave. Sorry, I'm kind of reaching over. Black slave masters in South Carolina. This book here. Right, you see it? That one. Let me see if I can pull it up. I thought I had it. Oh, well, let me type this in. This one right here. This book. Free black slavers, or black slave owners, free black slave masters in South Carolina, 1790, which basically confirms this book too. So as you can see, legislation was ran by Negroes, purchased by Negroes, manifested by Negroes. So this whole like nonsense of like they were helpless and fucking hopeless and reparations and yada yada yada, and supposedly, you know, they were always enslaved and the natives were, nah, fuck no. You guys mix with the white man. That's why you have, you know, that kind of skin tone. At the same time, you know, unfortunately raped our women. That's why a lot of these so-called grandmas have that history. It's not a nice history. And that's just something you don't want to confront. But you know what I mean? In this channel, we don't give a fuck. We tell you exactly who you are. Why don't you show this book? Why don't you show these books? Why don't you actually admit that you were just like the gringo? And he just pulled a fast one on you after 1865. That's what actually occurred. I'm going to show you these two videos, and I think we're going to be... do I have them? Let me see it. Oh yeah, here we go. First this one, and then the next one. All right. So I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, family. But look, this is what we're dealing with, right? Like, and listen, familia, I tell you what, I do feel for you, man, because you're dealing with wobbles, you're dealing with gringos, you're dealing with fucking Spaniards talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand. I get it now, bro. Like, I totally get it now. You know what I mean? And it's just like, from every angle. And all these people hate you. But they want to be you. Ain't that about a bitch? They hate you, but they want to be you. Hate you, but they want to be you. Watch this. I'll show you guys 3 videos, all right? Let me show you this one first, and then I'm going to show you this one after. Okay, so hold on. Let me go here. I'm going to speed this one up, and then we're going to call it a day. I told you I won't be here long, all right? So let's just enjoy this moment here real quick. I don't know if they'll like block me on that, so I'm going to make it like this. All right, let's listen in.
From London, North London.
Okay, fair enough. What's your ethnic background, if you don't mind asking?
My parents are from India.
Okay, perfect. Just getting premise here. First of all, I want to say
The premise of Donald Trump being pro-crime?
No. I want to concern myself with why you care about what's happening in the U.S., first and foremost. Secondly, I want to say this.
Should people who live in the U.S. not care about that?
Let's not interrupt each other. Because I have this thing, like people know I have this thing. I have to say, okay, so
okay.
Here's the thing. I am happy that he released J6. In fact, so much so that I was prepared to protest if he didn't.
Okay.
So when you say, are you okay that he's pro-crime? Sure, because you know what? We're changing the definition of what crime is, first and
You don't
foremost.
think stomping on police officers' heads is a crime?
I don't think it's no longer a relevant conversation anymore. You're
Really?
arguing, no, it's not, because you know what? Okay, have you seen the U.S. in the last 4 or 5 years?
Yes, I've
BLM
lived
protests.
there for a
Have you
while.
seen? Okay, I myself have been involved in these protests. I've seen egregious things that you couldn't even imagine.
So we
being
have no
done to
rules then?
conservatives. It's not about that. It's
it
about
about?
tribal warfare. That's where we're at in the U.S. I don't know where you're at in the U.K. You're from India, so I don't really.
I'm not from India.
Oh, sorry, your parents are from India, so
I'm an American
you have
citizen.
your own states.
I'm an American, you know.
You're an American citizen? Okay,
Yes.
fair enough. I don't know how you got that, but fair enough. Here's the thing.
Are you an American citizen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But here's the
Not
thing.
sure how you got that. Okay.
Born here.
Okay.
Born here, and my family lineage is settlers from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the claim here. Okay.
But you're
a little different.
But you're a
than yours.
descendant of immigrants, settlers,
I didn't know.
colonialists.
Yeah,
You don't
colonials,
look, you don't
yeah.
look very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are you
Sorry,
talking about?
you're not.
What are you talking about?
You're not.
Whites are Native Americans.
Really?
I think
What was
you're-
happening before the 1500s?
I think you're getting confused with it.
I don't mind going on a tangent, but what was happening before the 1500s?
Calm down. I think you're getting.
What was happening before the 1500s?
There was indigenous people here that
Yeah.
came here from
Do you know what
Asia.
indigenous means?
Listen, before
Indigenous
America,
people
you
can't
know,
come
let me
from somewhere
finish.
else.
Why do you ask a question if you're going to interrupt?
I'm not sure if you know what the meaning of indigenous means.
I do know what it means. It
Doesn't
means
sound
they
like it.
came here first, right? They came here from Asia by way of land bridge. Have an argument with Neil deGrasse Tyson or anybody else about that. I don't care.
Is he an American?
I genuinely don't care. Yes, he is.
Okay,
So
just checking.
my point is, okay.
Nothing to do with crime. So far, you've agreed with me that these
Because
people
you're
are criminals.
derailing, dude. I'm trying
You
to stay
literally
on track.
sat down and asked me where
no.
I'm from. I think you
I
derailed this
think you got
conversation from the
offended by
get-go.
that, but I'm
I'm not
always
offended. I'm
curious.
just wondering what it has to do with
I'm
crime.
always curious.
We're going to talk about
why-
immigration. Don't worry. Later on, you can come back.
I hope so.
Right now, you're doing a very bad job of making the case that he's not pro-crime.
I just
and
got a
pro-criminal.
round of applause. I could probably get another one actually if I asked for it.
Wow.
So I don't think I'm
is this
doing
how
as
you
bad.
get rounds of applause? You sit in a room with 20 people who agree with you. Wow, amazing. Amazing. That
well,
must
wait
make you
till
feel
this comes
good.
out. You know what? I'm
20
actually
people
glad
agree
you're
with
getting
you,
this
applauded you.
emotionally outraged right
Wow.
now. This is great.
I love it.
Do I have to say anything at this point, or are you just going to
Please.
keep going?
Please.
Okay.
Make your claim.
My claim is that I don't care if it's pro-crime. You
Okay,
want to go
so
back to the
so-
topic
so-
of
so
conversation?
that's fine, we agree then. He's pro-crime
But
and you
I have
don't
a
care.
question for you though. Do you care on the opposite side of the spectrum?
Yes.
Do you care about law being administered
Yes.
to the opposite side of the
Yes.
spectrum?
I think
when they're
anyone
the
who
same?
assaults a police officer shouldn't be pardoned. I think that Donald Trump shouldn't have pardoned 9 Republican members of Congress who were convicted of crimes, and I don't think Joe Biden should commit. I don't think Democrats should pardon Democrats.
Fair, but I don't
We
think
both
you
agree.
understand where we are in the U.S. then. I
think I do.
No, because you're
I think I do
arguing
this for
from
a
a
living.
position of like a U.S. that doesn't exist anymore. We're headed towards
so
tribal-
nihilism, no laws, nothing matters.
It's not about
Everyone's pro-crime.
It's not about that. It's that
That's
conservatives
convenient.
conservatives for too long have been playing it safe. They've been playing by the
Really?
law. They've been playing
They've
it
been
by
playing by the law?
Yes, they have.
Maybe
We're
you missed the Bush presidency.
conservatives
Did you
are
live here
so
during the Bush
concerned-
years?
Conservatives are
Didn't
so
play by the
concerned.
law, George W.
Let me
Bush, nor did
finish.
Ronald Reagan.
Let's be respectful to you. Let me finish.
I'm not sure you've been that respectful, but okay.
I'm trying to bring it back, so let's both bring it back.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
I'm conservative. Okay.
Really?
Let me tell you this. We do play it too safe. We've been playing it by the book for too long. At this point, gloves are off, right? The left has made their point. They're willing
Are
to
the
do...
police force in Washington the left?
Yes.
Why were
Are
they
you
assaulting?
kidding me? The left? Are you
wow.
are you
Police
insane?
officers?
Look at
Wow.
LA right here. You think those stand down
You think the LAPD are a bunch of liberal Marxists?
No, but I
Really?
think they listen to liberal Marxists who tell them what to do.
okay.
I think they listen to who signs their paychecks at the
Can
end
I
of the
just
day.
check,
who are
because you're
liberal
doing lots
Marxists.
of little diversions. We both agree Donald Trump's pro-crime, you're just fine with it.
No,
Is that the position?
I don't
That's what
agree
you've said
with
so
your-
far
I don't
for about
agree with
5
your
minutes.
I don't agree with your definition
What's
of
your
crime.
definition of crime?
It doesn't
Stomping
matter.
on a police officer's
No,
head is not a
what-
crime.
I-
That's
no,
your
what I'm
definition of
saying-
crime as the
He keeps getting
Native
me out.
American.
I am Native American.
If you
Okay.
say so.
So going back to the topic at hand, we have different definitions of crime because you're
That's
talking
convenient.
about.
There's a
It's not
criminal
about-
code
it's
in
not
this
about
country.
what's
It's called the
convenient.
U.S. Criminal Code.
You know what? Let's focus
That's
on
what
what we
everyone
agree on.
focuses
I'm
on.
sure you and I actually agree on a
Do
lot
we
more
agree
than
that
you realize.
people shouldn't stomp on police officers' heads? Can we agree on that? If
I'm
you don't
not-
agree on that, then I really think this conversation.
Native American, he says. You see that right there? I just wanted to catch that shit. It's a lot of talking. This is the way Esau works. But this is even worse, bro. And look, I'm gonna say this. Y'all trying to say Hebrew shit. Every single story that comes out of your mouth is like, my grandma told me so. It's ridiculous. But we're gonna continue to debunk the funk because I want to remind y'all who you really are. You're trying to run away from your slavery history. You see, family, the way that we get through or get to the white man, so to speak, for them to admit it, is by exposing these people first. You see, the white man don't want to admit that it was these guys that helped them get to where they're at, right? Because then that shows weakness. They want to stay in the superiority concept, which is why they rewrote history to favor them as well, right? But these motherfuckers don't want to admit the fact that they were slavers, which means all the empathy that the world has been fed by them is going to be flushed down the toilet. And the whole concept of reparations can basically be like, fuck you, you lied to us too. Babylon is full of lies. And who's pushing this agenda? You know who's behind this shit, bro. They're getting fed for this because, come on, man. Are you telling me that Christopher Columbus showed up knowing that if he ended up in this island, he's been shipping around Africa for a long time. If he would have seen the same people, don't you think that he would have been like, yo, man, this is Portugal? But see, the reality is that this man knew where he was going. That's why the class that I have coming up, which has this thumbnail, by the way, this one here, Colon was a Sephardic. I'm going to show you what that means. We're going to go deep on that. But let's listen.
Who our people were. And she was like, don't you ever let them tell you we're nothing. We're Native American. We're indigenous to these people, to this land. We were here long before the white man came. And she said, and they killed us, our ancestors off, and they ran them off. And they passed.
You see? So you have this old ass woman. They ran us off, the white man. So you feel bad, with the little music behind and shit. She's practically insulting us, our heritage. Like, I don't understand why you're so afraid to admit that you were slavers. Because that's what you have been since you showed up. Again, they're using a common technique, family. Oh, we are those people. So you don't get mad at this old lady saying that. But the fact is, this is robbery. This is racism. This is erasure of a heritage. It's like us saying, yo, we are Africans, bro. And you guys are not even Africans. Like, literally, you're not even human. You're like subhuman. It's exactly what they're doing, fam.
Laws against the natives, like the natives grew corn. They passed laws against natives growing corn. And then she told me about our ancestor who was from Africa. And she's the only identifiable African ancestor that we have. And she called her great-grandmother Leah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome.
Wow. So, we're dealing with this front. Y'all dealing with this front, and then this front.
Mire, aquella España solo merece agradecimiento por aliarse con los bravos tlaxcaltecas para derrocar a una tiranía que practicaba el canibalismo, por construir universidades en el páramo y hospitales en la selva, por ser el primer imperio en discutir su propia legitimidad, por promulgar leyes que reconocían derechos a los indígenas y prohibían la esclavitud, por promover el mestizaje, no la segregación, por forjar, sí, la hispanidad, una impresionante comunidad cultural, lingüística y moral. Pero no, señorías, la responsabilidad es individual, no colectiva. La tiene Sheinbaum por su política de abrazos a los narcos, que pida ella perdón a los mexicanos y a la viuda de Carlos Manso. Y la tienen ustedes por blanquear la violencia. Resulta, señorías, que yo tengo que pedir perdón por lo que hizo España hace 500 años. Tenemos que avergonzarnos de Isabel la Católica y aceptar lecciones morales. Acaben ya con esta farsa. Hace 500 años la civilización avanzó en América.
And it's funny because these Spaniards are taking credit for Christopher Columbus's, so-called achievement. But Christopher Columbus was expelled by these people. These are the same people that expelled these so-called people. So everybody's taking credit for some shit that they already knew, fam. And this is what I say, man, y'all are getting attacked from different fronts. You got the Gringolandians and shit. You got the fucking Wabos, Negros, you know what I mean? You got BHIs. Or you got people like this right here. I listened to this brother. The streets ain't loyal. So he says, I guess this guy, Red Supreme, called gente border hoppers. So I looked up this dumbass, Red Supreme. Well, this guy, Red Supreme, he like licks the nutsacks of Tazariak, from ISUPK, that stupid ass camp. Yeah, so it's like, that's why I tell you, brothers, man, like, you're going to have to face this. This is going to bleed into your fucking genre. I've been saying this since 2022, and that's starting to. So these 12 chart believers, right, calling y'all border hoppers. That's why when I see these BHI camps, they're over there on these so-called African channels showing them mad love, even though they're saying a bunch of crazy shit about y'all. No, they're laughing about it like, hey. That's why I said, and since I started my channel in 2022, they're going to turn on you. And it's going to seed into your shit. Watch, you're going to try to ignore it, but you're going to have to fucking find out who you are according to history and according to this Bible. Because it's getting to you. They really want this history, not because of your feathers, or because of your tamales, or because of your corn, or because of your sandalias, or because of your fucking grasshoppers, or because of your taquitos, or because of your atole, or because of masa, or because of tamales, or because of cilantro, pico de gallo, tejuino. They don't want none of that. They want to be the Hebrews because they know that that's who you guys are. And you got stupid ass channels like Indigenous Revolutions teaching you guys, oh, I'm a scholar. Really? All of a sudden now you believe in DNA, but then you don't believe in DNA? So you're saying that we're Siberians or we're not Siberians? Which one? Make up your minds. You try to say, oh, we're Siberians because we migrated from over there, but like the scriptures say that the 10 tribes actually traveled certain places. All of a sudden that doesn't match. Y'all are stupid. That's why I say you're getting even attacked from your own people. From your own people that claim that they're helping you out. They're not helping you out. Okay, what's the solution then? I'm indigenous now. Okay, fine. I'm going to learn how to speak Nahuatl, and I'm going to do all that. And you know what I'm saying? So what's the solution? Now what? Is that going to save me? Is that going to answer my questions like, why is this happening to us? Why us? Why did these people come to our continent? Why you see what I'm saying? So no, it doesn't. It doesn't answer that, does it? These are the facts, though.
Estar agradecidos con España por traernos la civilización.
Pero si usted es un blanquito y usted vino de allí, comprende, usted no estaba aquí.
Pero la pregunta es, los mexicanos
usted es
debemos estar agradecidos.
El conquistador es usted, yo me quedé allí, usted está aquí.
Pero nosotros debemos estar agradecidos.
Check this out on the bottom. It says, el conquistador es usted. Usted es el blanquito. So this goes out to you so-called Mexicans that are like this. I'm sorry, you ain't. You're a blanquito. You're a conquistador. And I know you guys appreciate Sheinbaum, and I appreciate everything she does for our people, but she's not of these lands. Y'all need to remember that shit.
Debemos estar agradecidos con España por traernos la civilización.
Pero si usted es un blanquito y usted vino de allí, comprende, usted no estaba aquí.
Pero la pregunta es, los mexicanos
usted es
debemos estar agradecidos.
El conquistador es usted.
El conquistador es usted. Yo me quedé
allí. Usted está aquí.
Dice, yo me quedé allá. Usted está aquí. Hey, very fucking true, man. Let's go.
All our children that when he came over and Cortez and Pizarro were down in Central and South America and they came across the Toltecs, Aztecs, Mayans, and the Incas, that every one of those cities had sophisticated sewer systems. And all the citadels of Europe, London, Berlin, Rome, Paris, didn't have any sewer systems. And that's why Europe was plagued with the bubonic plague and the black plague and all other kind of plagues, because it was filthy in Europe. And we taught them how to clean up their homes. They saw no sewer systems, appropriated that knowledge and took them back to clean up their citadels of civilization.
Triste, nosotros la conocemos de una forma, pero si nos ponemos a estudiar, es algo bien diferente.
¿En serio?
Es algo bien diferente. ¿Puedo yo comentar algo?
Que Hernán se puso a llorar en un árbol.
No, lo que pasa es que, mira, te lo voy a contar rápidamente. Ajá. Está la guerra en la Gran Tenochtitlan, salen los españoles por la calzada Tacuba, los alcanza era Cuitláhuac. Lo alcanza y lo iba a matar con su macuahuil. Ya lo tenía tirado, vencido, y lo iba a matar.
¿Qué es ese que tenemos hasta
allá?
Sí,
préstame el macuahuil. Ya lo tenía vencido, ya lo iba a liquidar, pero ellos tenían tanto honor que al ver a una persona, a un individuo así ya rendido, no los mataban. Entonces, ¿qué es lo que hace Cuitláhuac? Lo agarra así y Hernán Cortés se pone a llorar, no me mates, por favor, no me mates. Se puso a llorar, por eso es que Hernán Cortés lloró al verse vencido por Cuitláhuac, y eso es la verdadera noche triste para ellos.
I'm going to finish it up with this joke. Okay. Oh, my bad. Hey, fam, this is all I got. I told you I want to be here that long, so I'm going to play this one. This is kind of funny. I thought you guys would enjoy it, and then I'm going to play a song, and then we out, all right? Appreciate y'all's support. Please share, like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I would prefer that you guys share this shit. It's time that some of these people start getting some answers. And it's going to be harsh at first, right? They're going to hate me. You know, I'm already disliked, you know what I'm saying? So it don't matter to me. But don't be afraid. Find out who you are. Stop lying to yourselves. You'd hate to be 75 years old thinking you're a native and you never were. That's horrible. Good night.
¿Qué hubo, Hernán? Oye, hermano, fíjate, queríamos hablar contigo de una cosa rapidito. Hemos estado pensando y nos cae chido y...
Ya dile.
Te estoy diciendo... Mira, la cosa es la siguiente.
¿Cuándo se van a ir?
No, háblale bonito, va a pensar que no queremos que esté aquí. No, más bien era preguntarte si ya más o menos saben para cuándo se van a ir. Porque, fíjate, ya tiene que... 4 meses que llegaron y...
Ya nada más andan de encajosos.
Bueno, tantito.
No, tantito, no un chingo. Llegan pinches calzones cagados, miados por todos lados. Está feo, se ve mal. Se chingan el oro, se chingan a las morras, se chingan la comida. Ya dame ese pinche coco, ya estuvo.
Anaya, devuélvele su coco.
No es su coco, es el coco de los mexicas. ¿Por qué no se quedaron en su país? Nada más dicen que la comida que les damos es como para puercos, ¿no?
Esas son diferencias culturales, ya te...
¡Me vale, vergantecutli!
Brother, hermano, entiende, la mano está enojado porque va a venir su mamá unos días y pues, necesitamos el espacio, cosas familiares.
Ya cállate, pinche mortezo malambe huevos. A ver tú, gachupín, ¿no que venían descubriendo las indias? No nos descubrieron cómo hacerse pendejos.
Bueno, fíjate, ahí sí tiene un punto ella, porque cuando llegaste me dijiste que nomás iban a echar un shower, que se iban a comer algo, ultrajar una que otra mujer, pero pues... no se fueron. Y estuvo chido, o sea, estuvo divertido porque conocimos la viruela, los espejos, las ladillas en los huevos. Pero pues todo tiene un final, man.
Bueno, si quieren que me vaya, denme algo para el camino.
¿Cocos?
Ah, ok.
Bueno, no puede ser oro, piedras preciosas, no sé, esclavos, un pedacito así de territorio.
Nel, ya lárguense.
Ayúdame, carnal, porque comí mucho, ¿eh? Ahorita regreso con los tlaxcaltecas y con las almas, ¿eh?
Ándale.
Ándale.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I got to show this brother's channel and shit. Like, hey, I got love for you, brother, man. So let's get to it.
Hi, I'm Mr. Nasheed, aka Flex, and I wasn't mixed in with the Aborigines. I'm just a regular African American. I'm sorry for cosplaying, but projecting my cosplay on others.
Don't cry. You are changing. That's what is important.
Gentlemen, we have successfully delineated. So, where is our reparations?
My people were here before any of y'all. Way before.
Then show us the DNA, champ.
Gladly.
It says you're 99% Nigerian and 1% Indigenous American.
What's that? It's like a droplet in a bucket.
Harriet Tubman, you're not real. Huh? Dan Calloway made a video saying you're not real, his grandma told him.
Tell Lame Calloway, whatever his name is, to stop making up stuff to validate his agenda.
Grandmas never lie.
You're gonna need a heart transplant. I'm gonna put you under anesthesia now. The doctor.
Grandmas never lie. Hold on.
Fuck that puto. Fuck
that.
We'll be with you soon.
Wait, hold on.
Just breathe. Nice and easy.
Hello, I am Dr. Dudutunde. No, you do this. She said, we're African American.
All this time I thought we were Cherokee. Man, I told you, but you didn't want to believe me. I spent months making this regalia. You look wild, bro.
Breaking news tonight. The federal government has approved a historic reparations payout. First payments are scheduled to begin next month.
Oh, it's time. Let's go. Yes, sir.
Hi.
I'm glad to be amongst my people.
Tethers. Would you like some jollof rice?
Got something for you. A DNA test. Just swab and we'll know. All right.
I'm free.
Gentlemen, how may I help you?
We want the Cherokee.
Yeah, I've been hearing nothing but good things about it.
Of course. Right this way.
Afternoon. We hear you got a Cherokee on the floor?
Absolutely. Another one?
We need to see it for ourselves.
Here she is, fellas. The Cherokee.
Man, look at that paint. Interior clean, too. That's beautiful.
The black man is the original man. Nobody comes before us. Africa is the motherland.
And we must not forget that. Let us show love to those who are still there.
Nubian ancestors were the custodians, protectors, preservers, and teachers of everything good that has been associated with Kemet. We are the Moors and have the keys to the origins of man. Never let someone convince you otherwise.
They are an Edomite, and so are you if you disagree. Esau is their origin, and they hate that to be the case. Read the next
Deuteronomy 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou... They haven't seen the black and white pictures of black Indians.
Right. We were already here. It's not like we're having some kind of identity crisis.
I found a picture of aliens who were melanated.
See, I knew we were the real black aliens, but they've been trying to hide it from us.
We are indigenous to the universe.
Brother, go ahead and show your testimony. Saints! I ain't FBA no more. I am delivered. I don't hate immigrants no more. Me exposed as Haitian. I am delivered. No more FBA, yes, the African American. No more indigenous. I'm African.
Y'all haven't always been here. Quit saying that nonsense. Y'all just sound weird.
Well, my grandma told me I was Cherokee.
Y'all really think grandmas know everything, huh?
But she won't lie to me, right?
Did you tell your grandchild they are Cherokee?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because we lost our identity. So we had to make up another one.
No. That's a big motherfucking no. And here's the worst part. You call yourself Joshi Israel, so you must think that you're a Hebrew. So not only are you a Wabo, you're a Hebrew Wabo. This is the problem with you believers in that stupid ass 12-tribe chart shit. Black folks never came because here. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little history. Okay, look, this is what I like. See, I kind of like working on the fly because that's where all the fire comes out. You know what I'm saying? When people test you at that moment, it's like, are you serious? Like, are you really? Is that what you mean? So, you see this page right here? This page right here has been propagandized by you guys for a long effing time. But here's where you missed the point. Because you think you're a Hebrew, right? It says here, did the Negroes know of America? Diodorus Siculus tells, let me pause. Do you know who Diodorus Siculus is? Because I have the link specifically that talks about this article here. And there's one thing that they leave out, which I understand why. It's a fucking narrative. It's convenience. But Diodorus Siculus was alive around 1660, and he wrote, information regarding what he understood from Aristotle and Plato as well, okay? Now, here he says, but see, these people leave this out. So let's focus on this. So let's just take their word, right? Diodorus Siculus tells us that the Phoenicians in early times sailed beyond Hercules pillars along the African coast. That's between North Africa and Spain, southern Spain, okay? They call them Gibraltar, the pillars of Gibraltar. And there, meeting with storms and tempests, were carried to the remotest part of the ocean. And after many days came a vast island at a great distance from Libya and lying very far west. The Phoenicians informed the Carthaginians of this place, and the Carthaginians prohibited other nations from settling in it, they reserving it for themselves as a place of retirement if they should ever be driven from their native soil. So let me pause. Here it says Phoenicians and Carthaginians. Do you know who they are? The Phoenicians and Carthaginians are Hamites. So if you could, and again, your narrative that supposedly black people were here originally comes from this origin here, regardless of what you say. So basically, you're admitting, Joshi, that you guys are Canaanites.
That's gonna hurt.
That's what you're saying, and that's the fact. Now, if you ever do take time to read about Diodorus Siculus, he does say all of this stuff here. But one thing that these people leave out is the fact that they saw people there, living there, with aqueducts and buildings and all kinds of stuff. You see, they don't mention that here. So once again, it's like it's kind of like a double-edged sword. If you guys were these people, then you're Hamites. But at the same time, you leave information out that identifies people in these lands, and you don't express that. So which one is it? Do you want to be a Hamite, or do you just want to say they miscalculated what Diodorus Siculus was saying? And I can share with you what Diodorus Siculus actually said. But see, that's the problem. Like, because you said earlier, hold on, you said there's a lot of black people who are indigenous to these lands too, but not all of them are from here, right? And then you said, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying black people exist. No, you're wrong. And I'm not wrong. Black people, meaning like Africans, people that look like this, they're not from here. It doesn't matter if you're Mexican, Joshi, you're completely fucking wrong. Like I said, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying there was black people here. Which ones? Tell me. Okay, well, give me a source. Give me a source that shows honest. Are you going to go to the Toltecs, the buildings? Which ones? Not according to me, according to what the Bible says. You know, I mean, what do you mean? Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you believe in the what they call Old Testament, New Testament, and Apocrypha? I hope you do, right? But see, there's other books that do talk about certain things that a lot of these people don't want to talk about. And in case you don't know this, Joshi, you should read Jubilees. Jubilees is not like outside of the Bible. Jubilees actually confirms a lot of information. It's not far-fetched. If you read Jubilees, it's really not like Jasher or what's the other book? Oh God, oh my God, can't even remember the name right now. Anyways, but if you read this book, it talks about the division of lands in chapter 9, and it also talks about who these people were and where they were supposed to be. And if you actually read Jubilees 10, chapter 28, Jubilees 10, verse 28, 29, and 30, it actually shows that Canaan was in West Africa. Put was in North Africa. Mizraim was west of Put, I should say east of Put, and Cush was east of Mizraim. See what I'm saying? Let me see. I don't go based off the 12-tribe chart, so I don't know if no, that's good. Oh, that's good. Look, listen. What I'm trying to tell you is whatever you've been told is wrong. People that were originally here were never black. Okay? Not at all. In 1492, the Negros came with the white man. I mean, I've been showing this documentation for quite some time. Right. Like the reason I said Jasher, because Jasher does has a lot of gaps, but Jubilees doesn't. Like if you read the life of Abraham, right? Because that's technically what you should focus on. If you read the life of Abraham and you actually like take time and you'll notice that Jubilees is not that far off from what they're saying. Jubilees confirms and gives you additional detail as to some of the things that were missing in the first 5 books. and specifically talking about the walk of Abraham. It's kind of like the Noah and then Abraham. It's really focusing on that. So I'm not saying believe it. I'm not saying don't believe it. I would say read it. That would actually help you, and you will start to see and understand. Look, I'm not making this up. It says here, watch this. It says here on Jubilees 10:28, and Ham and his sons went into the land which was to occupy, which he acquired as his portion in the land of the south. Canaan saw that the land of Lebanon to the river of Egypt, that it was very good, and he went not into the land of his inheritance to the west, that is to the sea. So Canaan was supposed to be inheriting West Africa, but he chose to stay in the land of Israel, Jerusalem, because the division happened in the Ur of the Chaldees. Remember that. It didn't happen in Africa. It happened there. So when they traveled west, Canaan didn't want to go where he was supposed to. He said, no, I want to stay there. That's why the Most High gave him an opportunity to stay back and like, okay, fine. Because everybody had a chance to repent. That's a fact. Wisdom of Solomon 12:1 talks about this incorruptible spirit. Here he says that he let these people, these Canaanites, stay there. But this is a cursed seed right here. Wisdom of Solomon 12:11. Wisdom of Solomon 12:11. For it was a cursed seed from the beginning. Neither didst thou for fear of any man give them pardon for those things wherein they sinned. So here it talks about how he gave Canaan an opportunity to repent. That's why it's important to understand the life of Abraham. He means a lot to you if you're an Israelite. And that's why these BHI cams don't talk about Abraham a lot, because they know for a fact Abraham does not have anything to do with Africa. You know what I mean? Let me see. I ran into your channel, so I wanted to see what you were talking about. Yeah, I'm glad. No, it's a her. It's a her, bro. You should know. Joshi is a her. But hey, listen, Joshi. That's why, and I knew that that you were. I don't know if you're a young lady or not. I didn't want to be too aggressive with you. If you were a dude, I would have dealt with you differently. But I can also see that, hey, like somebody must have told you wrong. Here, I'll give you an example. Okay, here, I'm going to show you this. Okay, just so you can see, because you came to a channel that you probably are not familiar with at all. Like a lot of times, our people do not realize that tenemos gente que somos raza que sabemos como decir un chingo de cosas. ¿Sí me entiendes? O sea, no somos intelectuales que nos ves en la calle enseñando a la gente. Pero sí sabemos nuestras cosas. ¿Sí me entienden? Sí sabemos quién somos nosotros. And this is a bilingual channel. This is the only channel that brings stuff in Spanish and in English. And I'll tell you this right now. It says, this is the only channel that does not get debunked. People can confirm it. I've had brothers follow this channel since I started in 2022. I've been in this since 2017, 2018, around that. Early 2018. Let's put it that way. Okay? And they'll tell you, I don't get debunked. Nobody comes to my channel to debunk me because they cannot. Give me a second, okay? This book here is called, so one thing you'll know, Joshi, is I bring, like everything I say is not because I feel that way. Everything that I share or say or comes out of my mouth is because I read it. That's why. So here in this book, it's called Crania Americana, okay? This is a writer called Samuel George Morton. A lot of quote-unquote wabos follow this guy and use him as a reference to supposedly suggest that people were here originally black. But you see, he, the same writer that they jump on, right, wrote another book not too long ago after that. This is 1838, I believe. And I believe on page 60, hold on, I might have gone too far. Yeah, I went too far. On page 68, Watch how easily he debunks this stuff. Because you have to understand, sis, we've been lied to. That whole BS concept of mestizaje is bullshit. It's total bullshit. We didn't get light skin because we mixed with the white man. Or we're dark skinned because we mixed with negro. No. We had a variety of skin tone here. A variety of skin tone. From all the way through North America, all the way down south to Chile, to Peru. And in this book here, he debunks the whole concept of copper color. Sorry it's taking so long. It's just, I don't understand why this is. Oh, let me close this up. And maybe it'll help. Page 68. Hurry up. Let's get to it. This is annoying me too. Bro, for real? Okay, 68. Here it goes. Here it goes right here. Okay? He says this, and it's important for you to understand why this is said. Jesus, man, come on, bro. It says here, okay? This is page 68. It says, a copper-colored skin has been assumed by most writers as a characteristic distinction of the Americans, meaning the indigenous, people like you and I, right? It says, who have hence been called copper-colored race. The investigation of Dr. McCullough satisfactorily proved that this designation is wholly inapplicable to the Americans as a race. Who does he apply copper color to, though? And that it is a more characteristic of some other and very remote nation, meaning Africans. The error has obviously arisen from the habitual use among many tribes of red paint to a brownish skin, meaning we use paint to paint our bodies, which occasions a copper hue. So it's not a real copper color. It's a fake one. Like we tan, so to speak. Hubble declares that the denomination of copper-colored man could never have originated in the equinoctial regions to designate the Americans, meaning the indigenous, our people. And I can further testify that among the individuals of many different tribes that have come under my observation, I have never seen a copper-colored man. We consider, therefore, says Dr. McCullough, that the color of the American Indian in general is brown, differing in intensity with various tribes, according to various localities. And we have other books that show that we were very light-skinned in some cases. Okay? Then it says, and that the color of the American Indian in general is brown, differing. Hold on, I'm sorry. It says here, the various tribes according to the various localities, but that it is almost impossible to say that the brown color principally resembles. It says that the cinnamon is, in my apprehension, the nearest approach to it, though still too inaccurate for general comparison. So here is actually expressing that, yeah, they're not necessarily brown because some of them are lighter than brown, some of them are darker than brown, but I guess you could say that they kind of have that brown hue, kind of like lion's mane, you know what I mean? Like that. But I can't even really say that. It says, I fully coincide in opinion with Dr. McCullough and believe with him that no epithet derivable from the color of skin so correctly designates the American collectively as that of a brown race. Clearly stating that we weren't never necessarily copper colored. You understand what I'm saying? We weren't necessarily copper colored. It says we have a variety of blood tone, of skin tone, light skin, dark skin. You know what I'm saying? Like a variety. So do you want to know what book it is? Yeah, I'll show you. And again, look up Samuel Morton, and you'll find out this is a famous writer. You know, this is a famous writer, and a lot of these Afrocentrics, they love to bring up his name, but they don't love to bring up these things because, you know, their shit gets debunked. So in my channel, what I do is I debunk the funk all the time. It's called Cranium Americana. Here, let me show it to you. And that's what I share. It says, like in this channel, we don't just say stuff because we're upset or because we're angry or because somebody robbed us or I don't like certain people because, you know, they did. Nah, all my life growing up, I got along well with almost every nationality. Every single one. I didn't have no specific problems with nobody. Most High woke me up and he started teaching me certain things. Crania Americana, or the comparative view of the skulls of various Aboriginal nations. So when you consider what this guy is actually talking about, you know, it's pretty heavy, because even in this particular book, he even mentions, you know, Europe, gypsies and Hindus, and like he you know, he gets pretty detailed. Let me see if I can find you one more. All right, let's go to page 65, okay, and then we'll probably move on from here. But thank you for being here. Matter of fact, it's important that you come here and you question and you ask, like, what do you mean? And people need to provide these sources for you. They can't just say shit. They need to show you the sources and give you the book, not just the picture of the page and like, oh, look, this is what we have. Nah, it don't work like that. Watch this. This is on page 65, okay? Hold on. It says here, the physical aspect of these people is altogether repulsive, and their domestic usage tends to heighten the defects of nature. They are of low stature, seldom exceeding 5 feet 4 or 5 inches. Hold on a second. It says here that he's explaining people that he's seen, right? And these people are very short. They have large heads, broad faces, small eyes. Their chests are large. Their body's clumsy, with large knees and with ill-shaped legs. Their hair is lank, black, coarse. Their complexion is a decided brown, like that of a more northern tribe. You see this right here? Right. That's the point right there. No, but it's not even about the skin tone. Like, we had dark-skinned people, we had light-skinned people, right? It's about the phenotype. Like, for example, okay, let me see if I can find this guy's name. Hold on, okay, let me pull him up. Samuel L. Morton. He's got 2 books. And hold on a second. Let me see. Which one does he have? Sammy Morton's, which one's the physiognomy or something like that? Hold on. I think it's physiognomy. Is this it? Physiognomy? Hold on. Is this it? Hold on a second. I don't think this one's it. No, that's not it. Hold on. Samuel L. Morton books. Oh, here it goes. That's it. This is it. Observation. This one. All right. So he also wrote this book, okay? And this is the one Wobbles love to run to. Oh, look what he said. Look what he said. Hold on. Okay, hold this one. This one right here. Some observations on the hold on. Can I get it or not? Okay, I guess I can't. It's temporary offline? What? Are you serious? Nah. Why? Why now? Come on. It's offline right now, fam. Shit. So anyways, so in this book that he's talking about, right? Hold on, let me go back. Maybe I saved it. Hold on, let me go back. I want to show you a page that they use a lot. And this is why I laugh at them, right? Because they can't debunk this shit. Some observation. Did I save it? Nah, I didn't save it. Hold on, let me. Samuel L. Morton. I think it's this one. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so this is the book. Oh, I'm glad I saved it. So this is the book of Samuel Morton, right? And this is the one that Wobbles use. An inquiry into a distinctive characteristic of the Aboriginal race, okay? So on page 5, Wobbles run to this. Now remember, keep in mind that this is the same writer that completely debunks copper colored bullshit, or even that Negros were here originally, okay? On page 5, they do this and they trick you guys like this. So they read all kinds of stuff, blah, 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 blah. So it says here, it says, it cannot be question that the physical diversities do occur, equally singular and inexplicable, as seen in different shades of color, varying from a fair tint to a complexion almost black. And this too under circumstances in which climate can have little or no influence. So also in reference to stature, the differences are remarkable in the entire tribes, which moreover are geographically proximate to each other. These facts, however, are mere exceptions to a general rule and do not alter, watch this, the peculiar physiognomy of the Indian, which is as undeviantly characteristics as that of the Negro. This is where they trick you guys. So they're like, oh, you see, this says that it looks just like the Negro. No, you fucking dumbasses. He's literally saying that whether you go up north, light skin, dark skin, you'll see an Indian when you see one. Just like if you see a Negro that may be white, mix Asian, mix something else, you'll still see the physiognomy of a Negro. It's saying that regardless of where you go up in the Americas or down, you see the physiognomy of an Indian. It's almost like wherever you see a black person, like, yeah, he's black. It says, for whether we see him in the athletic cherubs or stunned caiman, in the dark California or the fair Baroa, he is an Indian still and cannot be mistaken for being any other race, including Negroes. Yeah, it's true. But what you're saying initially was that people here originally were black looking, like Africans. And that's not true. You have to remind yourself you're still believing in that trope type chart, whether you like it or not, because you think that those are your people. I think. Look back at Abraham's story. I'm going to read this verse and then I'm going to let you go because I'm almost done, okay? I'm glad you're here. Next live, hopefully you can stick around. Isaiah 51:1 says, hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord. Look unto the rock whence ye are hewed, and to the hole of the pit whence ye are digged. Look unto Abraham your father, and unto Sarah that bare you. For I called him alone and blessed him and increased him. You want to know why I read that to you? Because Judith 5:7 says this, okay? It says, and Judith 5:6, these people are descendants of the Chaldeans, and they sojourn therefore heretofore in Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of Chaldea. That's not Africa, sis. For they left the way of their ancestors. That's not Africa, sis. And they worshiped the God of heaven, the God whom they knew. So they cast him out of the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days. That's not Africa, sis. And in case you don't know this, we've been sent. I know that people lie to our gente and tell them that we weren't put on slave ships. And I'll tell you what now, global Indios, we've been everywhere. This is from a book I have called Global Indios. So everywhere you see is where we've been taken. See that? We've been all the way across the Philippines to Europe, Africa, India. So if anybody ever tells you, they lie. And I'll say it like this, and I'll end it with this. Let me ask you a question. Who is known to have eaten masa, grasshoppers, carne asada, or ceviche? Because what I just said to you right now, all of that is in the Bible. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Come back again. Hopefully we can get more edification. We need new people here to ask these important questions. Because at least you're willing to listen. Some people don't. The moment I push back and say that's a lie, people get emotional and they don't want to listen. But no, you took the time. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for at least listening to what we're sharing. And hopefully everything that I shared in this video, you can go back to and reference it and look it up yourself, and then you'll understand what we're talking about. And look through my channel, because listen, when I say that Psalms 83 was not just by the white man, you're going to find out that it wasn't. Psalms 83 is literally manifesting in our face right now. You're going to find out who all these people are, because that's something that none of these camps have ever taught people. You know what I'm saying? So, what does Mexica mean? Yeah, Mexica means anointed. That's what it means. Yeah, have a good night.
Estamos aquí, oye, que estamos aquí. Mírame, estamos aquí. Desde hace rato, cuando ustedes llegaron, ya estaban las huellas de nuestros zapatos. Se robaron hasta la comida de gato y todavía se están lamiendo el plato. Bien encabronados con estos ingratos. Hoy le doy duro a los tambores hasta que me acusen de maltrato. Si no entiendes el dato, pues te lo tiro en cumbia, bossa nova, tango o vallenato. A lo calaboy y bambú, bien frontú, con sangre caliente como Timbuktu. Estamos dentro del menú. Tupac se llama Tupac por Tupac Amaru del Perú. América no es solo USA, papá. Esto es desde Tierra del Fuego hasta Canadá. Hay que ser bien bruto, bien hueco. Es como decir que África es solo Marruecos. Estos canallas se les olvidó que el calendario que usan se lo inventaron los mayas con la Valdivia precolombina. Desde hace tiempo, este continente camina, pero ni con toda la marina pueden sacar de la vitrina la peste campesina. Esto va para el capataz de la empresa. El machete no es solo para cortar caña, también es para cortar cabeza.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. 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 Te muerde, te muerde.
Los paramilitares, las guerrillas, los hijos del conflicto, las pandillas, las listas negras, los falsos positivos, los periodistas asesinados, los desaparecidos, los narcogobiernos, todos los que robaron, los que se manifiestan y los que se olvidaron, las persecuciones, los golpes de estado, el país en quiebra, los exiliados, el peso devaluado, el tráfico de droga, los carteles, las invasiones, los emigrantes sin papeles, 5 presidentes en 11 días, disparo a quemarropa por parte de la policía, más de 100 años de tortura, la nova trova cantando en plena dictadura. Somos la sangre que sopla la presión atmosférica. Gambino, mi hermano, esto sí es América.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. 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 Te muerde, te muerde.
Y va de nuevo mi tono. Mexicano bandido, todo el barrio prendido. Siempre ando bien cuido, siempre poniendo ruido. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, yo defiendo mi tierra. No me dejo de nadie, yo cuido a los míos, mi raza se aferra. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Me voy tendido, me voy empinando mi bote. Un poco mareado por la bebida y el borlote. Me tiene hasta la riata la gente con su mitote. Pero me despreocupo, me pelan todo el garrote. Me para la chota, ya es por mi apariencia. Que hay tantos delitos, que hay tanta demencia. Yo no cargo nada, no más mi presencia. Pinche puerco joto, atente a las consecuencias. Si nos topa el boy en breve nos para en la calle. No puede salir uno conmigo porque ya hay detalle. No quiere que conteste, quiere que yo solo calle. Quiere mi dinero pero que chinga su madre. A la dica este sistema nos quieren ver abajo. Pero tumbar gente, quien les dijo que es trabajo. Puro chingar al indio, váyanse mucho al carajo. Loco no me rajo, lo bueno porque se armó la alianza más pesada del país. Todo el mundo ya conoce las rimas de estos MCs. Pa' ponerme más feliz, unos paisas de hachís. Mis paisas en el gabacho, bien truchas con la polis. Loco en Guanajuato, con los ojos bien tumbados. De coto con el quesada, rifando por todos lados. Atento si prendo un blunt en cabina cuando grabo. Represento Nuevo León, junto a mi carnal el Davo. Cuando voy pa' Jalisco, el pasado está olvidado. Con el perro de la C, bien grifo, pedo y enfiestado. Chécate mi banderón, unido como había soñado. Bien bajado ese balón, compa lefty bien bajado. Puro hip hop mexa, hasta que amanezca. Pásenme un mezcal y que no se apague la yesca. Ya saben que aquí andamos pilas pa' lo que se ofrezca. Si escribo estas rimas es pa' que se enorgullezca.
Verde marihuana, blanca cocaína, roja la sangre que escurre de una nueva herida. Yo salí de la ruina, nunca se me olvida. Con disciplina y respeto sigo en siempre la movida. Ando bien high, la vida es un freestyle. Disfruta lo que hay, vivo entre el bien y el mal, carnal. Crazy life todo el día, viendo live. Pinto tu barda con spray, lo que canto es real. Azules y rojas las sirenas que me persiguen. No suben pa' la virgen, salen todos cuando chifle. Mi barrio no lo pisen, que andamos todos grises. Maldito policía, no quiero que me revises. Prende la mota en Canala o en Hitter. Ando con mi flota y el dealer. Tenemos lo que se te ofrezca, tú nada más pide. Me dijo mi madre que de la envidia me cuide.
Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera.
Ya, ábranse cabrones, llegó el mexicano partiendo sin necesidad de palanca. Todos jugamos en la misma liga, yo soy titular, tú ves desde la banca. Disfruto cada cosa que me pasa, colaboro y mi carrera se levanta. El mismo cabrón que antes no tenía nada se la pasa viajando y dice que canta. Por eso me caga enfermarme de la garganta. Pero aguanta, traigo mata natural y humo de planta. 2, 3 cabrones dando lata y yo haciendo más plata. De esto la vida se trata y pa' que sepas no es barata. MC Davo los desbarata con cada escalón que sube. Yo tuve la suerte de hacerme fama en YouTube. Hay 2, 3 raperos de antaño que me bajé de su nube. Los mandé pa' su casa y de premio hasta les pagué el Uber. Si alguien me tira es porque sabe bien que domino el negocio y quiere de mi parte. No quiero darlas de grande, pero si me tiras la neta me toca humillarte. Soy capitán, llevo el estandarte. Somos muy pocos los que hacemos arte. Este flow si es de Marte, tú dale like y comparte.
México lindo y bandido, diario a Diosito le pido que me cuide a la familia si un día el cora ya no late. Estoy bendecido porque me cuidan los míos. Orgullosamente me exatamos locos de remate. Jaque mate, no hable de volar si viene gateando. La cosa por la frontera bandera se pone violenta, no importa el rango. Toda la raza jalándole duro, si hay algo seguro es la muerte en donde ando. El sudor y la sangre en la frente, los de alzada controlando. Se roban la atención, ya saben quiénes son. Vatos locos con sazón, como el de un corridón. No quiera tomarme el pelo si ando todo pelón. Levantando la bandera, viva México, cabrón.
Es el perrito de la C. La bandera con un águila, Simón, mi tierra es esta. Me vale si mi piel o si mi acento les molesta. Acá jalan horas extras, nunca duermen la siesta. Están los que van pa'l jale y los que la viven de fiesta. Otros que en el pintón se tatúan de corazón. 3 colores en el pecho, morirían por su nación. Aunque su puto gobierno los puso en la situación de no terminar la escuela y terminar en la prisión. ¡Viva México, ladrones! ¿Qué hubo, les presidente? Ya saben que por mí policías chinguen a 20. Y ahí están mis 20 pa' la cagua. Aguas, que es tierra caliente de Chiapas hasta Chihuahua. Wow, 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 yipi-yo, yipi-yucas. Guanas, Montegreen, Aguas, Tijuas y San Lucas. San Luis Potoyes, Mataulipas, La Puebluca. Dime si o no, loco, acá tienen lo que buscas.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.